session moderator and our panelists, inviting Dr. Gautam Raj Jain. He is the founder of Giraffe Accolades. He is going to be moderating the session. Dr. Jain possesses over 28 years of professional experience. He has held various academic positions in premier B schools of the country, like the Mudra Institute of Communications, Ahmedabad, Goa with IIMA, EDII, then UNIDO, Academy of Human Resource Development, SP Jain Institute of Management and Research, Mumbai, and Jaipur Institute of Management at Indore. He has also been the international consultant to UNIDO, ILD, UNOPS, UNDP, ADB, AFDB, and many others. Dr. Jain's academic and consulting interest basically includes entrepreneurship, innovation, incubation systems, attrition management, creativity, idea development, assessment centers, succession planning. So we look forward to him having as the moderator of the session and giving us lead and guidance on achieving and benchmarking the Indian education, higher education for excellence. I invite our panel members. I've already introduced one of them, our very first speaker, once again inviting Dr. Veethanan, the CEO and founding partner here with us, CEO and founding partner of Hub Concepts in Finland. Our next panelist, Mr. A.N. Singh, the management consultant and formerly the professor. Is here with us? Yes, sorry. Formerly the professor with the Asia Pacific Institute of Management. He has almost 40 years of experience of practicing, teaching and consulting of management techniques in business enterprises, management institutes and consulting organizations. He worked as a corporate manager at Steel Authority of India and at Jindal Strips Limited, and as a professor at the Asia Pacific Institute of Management. Also as a management consultant at FICCI, ASQ, UNIDO and Lean Solutions. Inviting you, sir, as a panelist. I now invite our next panelist, Dr. Sandeep Chatterjee, the registrar at the Jawaharlal Nehru University. Would like to request you, sir, to kindly join us here. And in fact, I'm sorry I didn't have your CV, so probably a little bit of, if you can. Yeah. That I mentioned the registrar at JNU. Further, probably, sir, if you can.
Basically, I'm in administration. I have done PhD in physics, and that is on solid oxide fuel cells, storing charges for long time. Like I have a battery which I need not charge for 3 days. So long time storage batteries. I have worked on this. That's my area. That's the technical area. But otherwise, I am doing administration, Central Service Group A officer basically, and I served in Ministry of Agriculture, Department of Agriculture, Research and Education for 8.5 years as administrative officer, senior administrative officer, and under secretary. And I had an opportunity to work with the World Bank and National Agriculture Technology Project as procurement officer and training consultant. Later I took a deputation to Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, because while I was in the agriculture ministry, I had the occasion to work for the agricultural universities and veterinary colleges, and also to prepare a training draft manual and a training program for all the officers of Ministry of Agriculture worth 65 crores. So I learned a lot of things at that stage and gained interest for working for the academy. So agricultural and veterinary colleges. So later I went to IIT Kharagpur on deputation, and since then I was there as a registrar academic, looking after the undergraduate, postgraduate and research programs of IIT Kharagpur, admissions, handling the students, conducting convocations, handling the alumni, and the overall life cycle of the students as a finished product. Later I went on deputation to Tata Institute of Social Sciences as registrar and was there for 3 years. I came back again to IIT Kharagpur, had a 2 years cooling off period, and then again as on deputation I am at Jawaharlal Nehru University. Some of my interests are working on corporate social responsibility. I write proposals and get funds from the Government of India so that places like universities which are not having adequate funds, they get support. And you'll be happy to know that our fee is very less. It is 250 rupees and our hostel fees is 10 rupees. We don't ask for money from industry. We don't beg money from the government. And we live on our own. Even our funding is very less as compared to the IITs or IIMs. But we do have some projects, consultancies, things like that, and a good corpus fund. The interest and the retainer fee, etc., help us to, what we say, run our economy. And we have very good students, and they aim big career, and they see a fulfillment. Ours is a free and independent campus. There is no attendance. But the teachers are excellent and students are fascinated to go to the class. And there is a thirst for getting more and more out of the best teacher, unless you get the last drop out of it. So I feel happy to be involved, and I am member secretary for the University Academic Council, the Executive Council and the University Court. So that's my short profile. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I now hand over to the moderator. Thank you.
Good afternoon to everybody, and welcome to the first panel session for the day, benchmarking for the higher education. And I also welcome panel member, eminent panel member with a lot of experience in education and on industry side. And let us look at what they have got to share with us in terms of their experience of benchmarking. Now, in order to set the tone of discussion on benchmarking, I thought I will share some ideas about what I think about benchmarking. Since morning we have been seeing something or the other people have been sharing in the film that we saw. Excellence is nothing but a self-concept. It is an attitude. It is a motivation. And if you do not have this, you cannot achieve excellence, no matter what capabilities you have got. Okay, if you are not interested to attain excellence, you can't attain it. No matter what kind of resources are diverted to you, support has been given to you. You have been told that excellence is the only way, but you are still not going to attain that. Now, in that scenario, and the kind of scenario that has been shared this morning, the kind of education institution in higher education we got here, who have no direction, what they are for, what are they doing, and most of these education institutions were set up with high level of infrastructure and being closed. There are regulatory bodies which do not know what to regulate, but they try to regulate in a manner that most institutions would be closed or they would not deliver the quality. Only mediocre institution can be sustained. Okay, we look at the industry. Now, industry side is more of the input in terms of coming and delivering a lecture, sharing the experience which they can sum up for 20 minutes without taking into account a holistic learning perspective for the learners. Industry participation has been also very limited in stimulating the growth and success or excellence in education. In such a scenario, how benchmarking can make a difference? Benchmarking is only a tool, a technique or method. Now, you can apply the way you want to. You can copy a curriculum, you can copy a building, okay, you can copy the rules and regulation of the best institution, and you say, I'm benchmarking it. And another way of benchmarking is to really set higher standards, but benchmarking certainly offer a limit of the sky. Excellence is, well, the sky is not the limit. When you are working on the benchmarking, the sky is the limit. You can't go beyond the industry standards. And you are not set to go beyond the industry standards. And this is one of the limitations of benchmarking. So we would like to know from the panel member, what are their experiences of benchmarking, how far benchmarking has been successful in the institution. We have a lot of examples of benchmarking in our country, like IIM and ISB. They are all grown because of benchmarking. But then you see after some time, they disappear from the ranking. Alright, because they cannot. There is another institution, Jawaharlal University, JNU University, has a remarkable sustained growth and sustained reputation of being a good education institution. And it's a good opportunity to know how Jawaharlal Nehru University has been able to sustain that excellence and what has stimulated them to create the excellence and sustain it. And what are the challenges involved? And that would be a very useful lesson from Dr. Sandeep. Professor Mr. Singh would be talking about, he has been an academician, and he would be talking from the academic perspective, how benchmarking and how it is being used currently, and what are the need for the modification in benchmarking approach. And certainly Dr. Yuka is here, who has shared with us about the innovation. And I'm looking at innovation as a contrast to benchmarking, because benchmarking is follow what is there, but innovation is to go beyond what is not there. If we continue to benchmark, then we can't bring new products, new institutions, new educational products. We cannot bring, because we are just following what others have done so far. So I think innovation insight will be very, very useful in understanding going beyond the benchmark, where we can look at the sky is not the limit. So I request the panel member to start. Dr. Sandeep Chaturvedi.
Thank you. So human being is the only animal which is standing on 2 feet. Okay. And most of the, say, furniture, I'm just trying to give you a contrast, they stand on 4 legs. Like the chair we are sitting in is a 4-legged one, and a 2-legged person is sitting on it. So I remember my coffee table, which is having 4 legs. Like here also I have a table, which has got 4 legs. A non-living item, and if you see the contrast, the type of synergy, type of alignment, type of faithfulness. So it has 4 legs, and I call it as 4 stakeholders. And I'm linking you now to the stakeholders in a university, or you link the stakeholders in the industry, or you link stakeholders in any of your concept, wherever you are working. So this 4-legged table, which is a non-living item, is far, far better, is aligned, it understands, is better dovetailed, and feeling, understanding the need of others, appreciating what others are doing, and after they have done their duties, they are also serving the 4th leg, what we say as the society. So what I see in the university, when you say about excellence, benchmarking and things like that, it comes by the participation of the stakeholders. And when we run a university or a couple of colleges which makes a university, say in the higher education bracket, it is the stakeholders, how they are connected. And that turns the things, that brings the difference. The best way of synergizing, if you see the institutions with which you aim to benchmark yourself or your university, you see how they have done. So the students who are the primary stakeholder, for which the teacher as the other stakeholder, the staff and officers of the facilitation group as the other stakeholder, and the society or the parents as the other stakeholder, how they are linked. And that is the model out of which one can see and one can aim in terms of the general running, performance, appreciating the things, thinking about excellence, innovation, benchmarking, or anything you say beyond that. The alignment between them. So for the students as the primary stakeholder, we have to see that how best a teacher is contributing, how the students are selected, what is the type of environment we are providing to the student, and what is our fee structure, whether the student is able to pay the fee. Or in his college or university, are we only aiming at students who can pay a fee of 50,000 rupees or 2 lakh rupees or 25 lakh rupees, say in Indian Business School? So then what will happen about the students who are coming from rural background? So we are not United States of India, we are India or United States of America or something like that, what we call as a developed economy. So we have to think in that context. And second, when the students are here in the campus, then what we are doing and how we are working with the student whom we have taken as a raw product. How the other stakeholders are working day in and day out, what we say as the hard work, to give their best to the student, so that later when the student graduates out, say to be proud of our graduates, what we say, gets the maximum or the extracts the maximum, the last drop of it. So there comes some other activities, what we say as the quality of faculty. To give the best to the students, the best of curriculum, designing the curriculum, pedagogy, and how quickly the changes can take place. Besides a set curriculum, do you have the flexibility to read, to study something else? Between the timetable, it's fine. Outside the timetable, what has to be done? Whether you have a learning mechanism or anything which the students can do on their own while they go back to the hostels, say if they are the hostelers, boarders, or if they are day scholars, what they do, how they utilize their time. So I see all these things in the context when we have a thirst for excellence and we have a thirst for benchmark. So the quality of teachers. It happens many times in many universities that teacher is concerned to improve upon his CV. There was a mention sometime, goes on foreign trip, very high salary, lot of promotional avenues. But what is the teaching load of the teacher? What are the subjects in terms of core and other subjects which he or she is teaching? And say one teacher, whether he or she is teaching 5 students, 10 students, 100 students, in terms of direct reach out and in terms of business learning, what is the total reach out and the usage of that costly teacher? So that also has to be seen, because the system invests a lot of money on teachers, their development, grooming, etc., etc. And further how the team facilitates. And later, say when the parents are at home or the society is looking at you, they also keep a close watch. So the responsiveness of the system and how the hard-earned money is spent. So we take 250 rupees from a student who is coming from a remote location. For him, giving 250 rupees is also difficult. That is beyond the understanding when we sit here in a 5-star comfort. Or giving, say, 20 rupees, 10 rupees for an annual hostel fee is sometimes difficult. So to achieve that, where the raw products are converted into quality finished products, it requires a lot of effort, synergizing of the things. That is one primary objective. Over the period of time, the way of teaching, say the chalk and talk method, has also improved, and IT methods also have been implemented and it has been introduced. So those are the changes which are coming these days. But the model, I say, the faithful model of a table where all the 4 legs are there, synergized, dovetail, understanding each other, they do their own duty as well as they help others to do their duty. So in terms of excellence, that it has sustained for a year and it is sustaining for years together. So excellence and benchmarking it's not necessary to compare ourselves, say, with Oxford or Cambridge or LSE, etc. We compare ourselves with our standards, our benchmark, type of flexibility and autonomy we have. And as discussed in the forenoon session, nothing stops you to change your curriculum, syllabus, introduce any concept you want. You can have things like beyond the curriculum also. There is nothing, what we say as a single item which brings excellence or which brings a change or turnaround. It's the combination of things and the making of the things at the end, what is seen and what is rated. Say, we also subjected ourselves to the NAAC rating, National Assessment and Accreditation Council. There was a fear that they cannot rate us. Sometimes what happens, the people have very, say, different ambitions and they feel we cannot be rated. That has happened with IITs and IIMs, and they say that we cannot be rated. Who are they to rate us? Who are they to judge us? Say Gallup International or India Today or Outlook magazine or Business Standard, something like that. They always feel that it is for the private universities because it provides them some sort of edge to sell their courses and to get students and heavy fees, etc. So the government system where a lot of investment has happened, they sometimes feel. But we thought that we should go for a NAAC rating. Rather than UGC or NAAC saying that those who will not have a NAAC rating will not get the budget. So we presented ourselves, say, on a very humble way, and we got a rating of 3.91 out of 4, which is the highest rating in the country. So we have been rated on the basis of our strength of the curriculum, the freedom of our students to make a choice of the courses which they will study, what they do outside the class, the facilities available in the library. We have a lot of blind students, physically challenged students also, and we have all the means and all the methods for them to be equal with any able-bodied student. Then the quality of the teachers, the publications, the books, which is there on a constant basis. Also a traditional shift for the teachers to reach out to large number of people. Also for them to link with the national policies where they have to participate in the content development so that under National Mission of Education for ICT or improvement of the curriculum in the national framework they are contributing. Rather than in a class where they are teaching only 100 or 50 or something like that. Because for a teacher who is of such a high value, where a lot of investment has taken place, for him or her to teach 50 students is really a crime. That's a luxury. We cannot do that much of luxury. So with that, and we have science, we have biotechnology, we have molecular biology, we have physical sciences, things like that. And that combination runs well. We have Indian languages, we have foreign languages, we have the literature studies, we have the entire set of humanities, economics, etc. The faculty is sought after by the government of India. Some are members in the planning commission. We also supply vice chancellors to the Indian Academy in the universities. We supply the administrators also because it is a learning ground for us. Our library remains open throughout the day. We have the best library in the university segment. We have academic staff college where we have continuous learning and trainings, foundations, courses, etc. for the faculty, for the academic administrators, etc. We have an Institute of Advanced Learning, Jawaharlal Nehru Institute of Advanced Learning, where we call people from outside the country to visit us, to stay with us, and to do research, to do teaching. We give fellowship to them. Even we invite Nobel laureates to stay with us. And that is how we get a participation of foreign faculty to teach our students, to do a collaborative research. We have MOUs and collaborations with almost all the universities. We make a choice that with which university we should have. And there comes the question of benchmarking in the standards. And in that way, in that process, then how the workflow takes place, say the convenience of the student, how the teacher is accessible, how sooner he can make choose a course and register a course. So those have to be simple. The disbursement of scholarship, fellowship, the processes have to be simple. We did a complete work study of each and every item and the activity which a student has to undergo, a teacher has to undergo, a staff or officer has to undergo. And we have decided the timeline, the empowered desk, and where it should start, where it should finish. So the enabling environment is also there, contributing to the excellence and what you say as the self-acclaimed benchmarking. We have very well-known alumni. We also produce and generate lot of MPs and MLAs because we have a free campus, free society. Lot of students, in fact, they nurture themselves in politics, and that is how people participate in the civil society and participate in the decision-making process. Otherwise, maybe none of you may be interested to contest the election. So good people are not coming in the politics. That is also sometimes we say. We also encourage the students to develop their skills in terms of IT skills, language skills, foreign language skills, and the soft skills. We have that also in process. Since our library is open 24 hours, students are preparing for the UPSC examination, the civil services, Indian foreign services. You go to ministry and you find that every third person is from JNU. In foreign service, every second person is from JNU. So these are the things which we are trying to make effort. And I will say that no effort is small, and the next effort is only to consolidate that, and the aim is always high. We are working how we can be, say in terms of benchmarking, to be so we are one of the 20 universities in the world which offers the best curriculum for the English language. This is one of the things, and we are ranked fairly higher by the different surveys. So that's the continuous process. We have submitted a proposal for Innovation University. I myself work for making the university campus as a barrier-free campus for the physically challenged, the visually challenged, and the orthopedically challenged. We write and submit proposals. We have very good projects where the faculty is ready to, say, give you the overhead charges, which helps to bear the cost of the students. If you see the cost of the students, say 350 rupees is the fee, or 250 to 350 is the fee, but say roughly 2.5 lakhs to 3.5 lakhs goes in the per unit cost. So it comes from the faculty. It is the responsibility of the faculty, as I said, when we stand in the shape of four-legged table to contribute to the other stakeholder. It is not that one stakeholder only takes, eats and enjoys in terms of fat salaries. You all of you must have heard that in the 6th pay commission, 5th pay commission, faculty got very fat salaries, just in terms of comparing what industry is getting. But there was no comparison in terms of deliveries, the responsibilities. So there it comes the responsibility of the faculty. You reduce the fee, and it will be the responsibility of the faculty to arrange the cost. So those are against a self-driven benchmarking processes. So there are a couple of things like that. I'll again join in the process in the discussion. Thank you.
Sandeep Chakravarti. I think it's a very inspiring case, and if you look at JNU is the only institution in the country of very few globally which has not followed the benchmark. It is not a case of benchmarking. It is a case of excellence. Okay, and you look at another aspect, the inclusive educational system, and it is their own commitment to make education available to all types of people, while large number of universities have ignored aspects that people need. So this is the commitment. If you have a commitment, then you can excel, and they are not the ones who are grown on the strength of the funds that Government of India has provided, all right, or some industries have provided. They stand a case which would inspire many universities to learn from, and they are setting the benchmark. Now, without Following the benchmark, they have been rated one of the top 20 best universities in the world. Okay? So benchmarking is, people are motivated for benchmarking largely because they need accreditation so that they can make further money. Alright? So it is not necessary to benchmark other institutions only because you want to get accreditation. I think you need to be motivated.
So just one addition, in education, or I will say in higher education, there is no master. Always remember that. All are servants. That's a major thing to remember. And from the Bible, if you read the servant's song, so you will be reminded of what education is. That's I wanted to say.
About the benchmarking. Before coming to the topic, I'll tell one very small ancient story. Dhanvantari, all of you know? Yes? Dhanvantari, who was the topmost guru of Ayurveda. Right? He had a batch of 10 students. After they completed the course, they went to him and told, Guruji, हमको गुरु दक्षिणा देनी है आपको. They wanted to offer him some present because for his good teaching, honor him. He told that, go and find out any vegetation plant, which does not have medicinal property. Right? It was his Guru Dakshina. Just go and pick up some plant which doesn't have any medicinal property. They went and searched, analyzed everything. They couldn't find a single one. After they came, every plant has some unique medicinal property. It was a finding of them. So the benchmarking is exactly same thing. It was started by Dr. David Camp in the Xerox. In 94 he was here. I had opportunity to undergo training on the benchmarking by after Xerox. He succeeded. He left and he started benchmarking institute and promoted the benchmarking. The belief is that every person, every organization, every entity has got one unique property better than me. That is starting point, humbleness. You must be humble that everybody has got something which is better than me. The benchmarking, the basic principle is that. Humbly accepting that every organization has got some individual product, unique thing. Then scientifically trying to find out what is that good. And then learn how to apply and adopt. Again I am going on the scriptures. One Dattatreya, one Rishi was there. He had 80 gurus. Even from dog he learned, from elephant he learned from the so many insects. He says, I have got 80 gurus. Because every creature has got some unique thing. That is a benchmark. If I feel that mine is the best, then we have blocked our learning, what we have seen in the morning. It is a blockage that if I am the best, then people should come to me. I am just telling after using this technique, how to, the academic, they should not learn from the academic only. I am just giving how the concept. Few examples I am just giving. The best collection system from the benchmarking it was observed of Citibank. 15 years back, Citibank collection system was the best. That steel industry, academic institution, everybody should learn. That is a bench. You must go out of your domain. Then only you can learn. If I feel I am the best, then people should come to you. That is first opening, humbly accepting everybody has got one unique property. Like best delivery system, food delivery system, which has got, you might be seeing, Domino Pizza is the global benchmark. Domino Pizza, if it is not delivered in 30 minutes, it is a free. In India, if they are not able to do, in one day they will become bankrupt. So benchmarking is going beyond your domain, learn from others, and it has really created the wonders. Today, the management system, the Toyota is treated as the benchmark in the world. That's the only company in past 70 years continuously gone up. There is no second company in the world. Whole world is trying to learn. I had been to Toyota, took training, and incidentally I am involved only in promotion of that system. So the benchmarking is first humbly accepting there are some better things are being done by others. Then using the scientific and ethical means to learn what is better, identify what is better, and try to improve. That is the purpose of benchmarking. How it can be used in the institute. In institute, if you just see status of academia, status of our academic education, how it has delivered, how it is delivering, you just see everyday's newspaper. What do you find? What do you find? Everyday newspaper. Even the people on the highest authorities, so-called very highly qualified, and what they are doing. It means our education system was not capable to deliver the right behavior. In my opinion, there are 4 aspects of benchmarking what institutes, academic institute can do. One is the course design, that you can very well buy the curriculum. Second, teaching and learning process. Third, how do you evaluate the students, whether they are A grade or B grade or that, which is deciding their employability. And fourth is that means ultimately the behavior, how they are behaving in the real life, not just getting the very good marks as a manager, as a minister, as an administrator, as a teacher, how they are behaving. The purpose of education is to get the behavior. The lean starts with the reverse. Whole thing, I'm just telling, the approach is totally in the reverse direction. So the benchmarking has to be done in these 4 areas of the academic institutions. And what is the purpose? Say for example, let's take one discipline, finance management. Search which is the best institute in the world who has produced the most competent finance managers. Take their syllabus, then identify yours and compare it. The whole purpose is to find out what is the gap, delta factor. The purpose of benchmarking is first, where is the gap between the best of the world and my area? And then try to, second step, how to bridge that gap. And the purpose of bridging the gap is not only to reach that one, even to exceed that. How we can do better than that, this is the purpose of benchmarking. And this is the technique of benchmarking. It has helped the industry. Now, like a curriculum design, I'll say how it is being done. I have seen, all of us as being students. Few professors, they made the curriculum. Am I right, sir? Right? The few professors, based on that, they collect something, they design. But who is the user of that curriculum? Is the professor? Who is the user? Who is the user? Who is the beneficiary? Ultimately the corporate. What you are teaching, whether it is able to deliver the desired outcome. So who will decide? Like in this hotel, Grand, food is good or bad? Who will certify? The chef? Who will certify? Is it tasty or good? We will certify. If a chef puts his spices based on his or her taste, is it going to serve the purpose? Actually, in my opinion, I wish I am wrong. This is happening with our academic institutions. This is my observation. The whole curriculum design is made by the academicians, which is going to be used by the industry. That's why all that is coming, and as I told every day's newspaper, what's happening. The moral, ethical, performance value because of this guy. So it needs radical change in our approach. And the benchmarking is one of the best tool which can be very effectively utilized for improving the academic process. But it cannot benchmark everything. There are some limitations, how they teach. You cannot just benchmark, you can benchmark only their syllabus, their exam system. So, selectively it has to be used for improving that, and it is one of the very famous quality improvement tool. I cannot just go and decide this is the way of benchmark. So we have to learn the benchmarking technique, apply it, and improve particular feature of our process. So with this one, I am just giving a brief overview of what is a benchmarking. I'll pass on to.
So it has been interesting to listen to these two gentlemen talking about these issues. Talking about excellence in higher education, just very recently I saw a quote by Martin Luther King about education and schools, and it's a very short one. He said that intelligence and character, that's what higher education is for. So it's exactly what was just said here, that it's not just enough that you have the best curriculum and you have good academians teaching it, and people learn all the knowledge and all intelligence what they need for their work, but it is also important that these environments provide places for people to grow, so that then they have the right type of character when they leave these institutions and serve then their country or companies or any organization that they work for. So it's kind of a starting point that from my point of view, excellence is very much related also to character, what comes out. But then talking about this actual question, ideas about benchmarking and innovation. Well, of course, traditionally, perhaps this Humboldtian understanding of universities is related to education and research. And even these two gentlemen here are very much in these lines, that this is something that universities are for. And then it is very relevant to benchmark other institutions that have hundreds of years of history in teaching and research. But recently, quite many decision makers and prominent people are saying that universities also should have this role to provide services to society, not only to students that are there studying and all that. And quite often this is then referred as a kind of a third function for university, and many times it is interpreted that universities should participate in solving grand challenges, problems in society, and work together with private sector to be innovative and find different kinds of solutions. And I think that here we come to the the answers that are perhaps somewhere there to be grasped, or some ideas that benchmarking is a very valid tool and method to learn from others. But then at the point where you don't have any more somebody to look up to or somebody to study, you have to find from within yourself this capability of being innovative and start thinking about radical new things and all that. So I would very much favor of using benchmarking as a learning tool, but probably nothing more than that. And then after that, trust on individual thinking, understanding local conditions, very frequent dialogue with different stakeholders, so that we can actually start creating new innovative solutions for the challenges that are facing us. And in higher education institutions, that means that some of the methods, how you teach, some of the research approaches, and the dialogue with other stakeholders needs to be taken into account, so that we find new innovative ways to promote multidisciplinary studies, collaboration with industry, and then working for society. So I think this is the way how to go.
Very interesting. Now, Dr. Sandeep has made it very, very clear that you are the hero and you can become what you want to be. Okay? And Dr. Singh has emphasized largely on find the best institution and try to benchmark, try to do the best what you can do. And Dr. Yuka has talked about innovation. Benchmarking has limitations. You can learn how you create an institution, how you manage your institution through benchmarking. But you cannot go beyond to sustain yourself for many years, because you will become outdated in the process. Because and if you are not going to keep your eyes open and change yourself and create new ideas, but at the end he has thrown a new idea, the university's role is just not to educate the students, but also has a significant role around the society in solving the problems in industry. And the new concept that has come up is entrepreneurial universities now. And entrepreneurial universities not just teaching about entrepreneurship, but they are entrepreneurial in every aspect, because they participate and they take the responsibility of the development of their local area where they are located, and they participate in almost every activity. And that is the kind of the idea of institution which is emerging now. And if you want, we all of us want to now aim for higher education. We can't now follow the benchmark, the traditional or conventional universities. We have to now benchmark with entrepreneurial universities, because traditional and conventional universities are working in some corners in the globe, but they are not going to be relevant to today's generation Z. See, challenges are today, the generation Z is extremely fast. Okay, the education curriculum which has been created 100 years ago, 50 years ago, today's generation, they can absorb 3 years education in 2 months. Okay, now why they should spend 3 years in university completing their education? Alright, so we have to, I think we have to look at now the new challenges which are emerging and see how we can take the institutions ourselves far. Open to the question answer. Any questions?
If I may just comment one thing. I don't know how do you Indians see yourself, but picking up from all the discussion, perhaps sometimes you have this kind of a feeling that there is a need to benchmark. But then I hear stories also that somebody has already done all that and is now one of the leading institutions in the world. So in this sense, I think that you're rapidly coming to the point that there is nothing much left to be benchmarked. And this gentleman here has spent many years working together with Japanese companies, and the much that I know about Japan, they had the same issue a few decades ago, 50s, 60s, 70s. They were catching up, they were trying to do, they were benchmarking, they were learning, and they were developing their processes. Now they are, in many industries, on top of they gain. Higher institutions in India are reaching that point. And we all know what happened to Japan after 1990, 1995 kind of thing. It kind of stagnated, and now they don't know anymore what to do, and the development has stopped and all that kind of thing. And I would very much like to see new, innovative Indian way to develop higher education institutions and bring your own model to the world. Because soon you cannot benchmark anymore. Then you have to become innovative and radical and decide your own way. And I'm sure that there is lots of talent that can be used for that. And I just hope that you will never face the same path what happened in Japan in this way. So how do you see, do you think that you can avoid this kind of a dilemma that is waiting for those who are benchmarking?
See, as I told, every country, every individual has got some uniqueness. You cannot say that Japan everybody is good, every company is good. In India also there are some excellent companies, there are worse companies also. That's true in the USA or Europe, everywhere. Here, using this tool to find out exactly where I want to excel. It cannot just a general benchmarking. This institute is best in all aspects. One particular feature. Just like so many cars are there, you cannot say this is the best car in all respects. Some has got very good fuel efficiency. Some car has got a very good safety feature. Some car has got a lot of convenience. So, basically picking up what exactly I want to improve. And this way, you can bring excellence by picking up every feature and trying to adopt it. This is the very, very powerful tool, and it has helped, as I told, the best collection system, Citibank, how to collect the money. That was used even in the steel industry. I worked in the steel industry. So we have to go out of box. We should not just compare education system with education system, like a training design, like a manual, how to design. I find if you just pick up any car manual, that is the best manual. A textbook can be made like that one, especially for the distance education and self-learning. How the visual management has been used. Even a layman, how to put on the ignition, how to use it. Even first time I told it should not be more than 30 seconds or 10 seconds, something like that. Textbook can be learned from the manual. So we have to come out of our own cage of domain. Institute cannot be just benchmarked with the institute. You will be doing again blunders. It can be learned from any delivery system. As I told, Domino Pizza, there is one master tool in US company. They say lifetime guarantee. A tool, screwdriver, your forefather might have purchased 100 years back. If it is cheap, you go to that company. Immediately, without any discussion, they'll replace you with the new one. Caterpillar, one company, Earth Moving, says within 24 hours, any spare anywhere on the world, whether you are on the North Pole or South Pole, they'll make you deliver. So this is not only for that industry, these are the benchmarks. How to evaluate your students. Even there is a big question mark. All the psychologists, they say, even the IQ system, it is under question. Nobody says that this is good. So many psychometric tests are being done by the corporate and somebody developed, but that is again under question mark. I have done very deep study in that area, neuro-linguistic programming and that. Even the psychology, it is totally untouched. So many testing procedures, it's not necessary how Harvard does, you should do. Maybe some other institution, some other industry is doing evaluating performance. We can learn from the army, we can learn from the police, in education system. We can learn from others. So purpose of benchmarking is don't be just confined to that. only your domain. Because a lot of things you can learn from others. That is the purpose of best practices. That is the purpose of benchmarking, not just comparing Harvard with your institute or the IIM or IIT with your. They definitely are not doing the best way. The first humble acceptance that there is somebody, some organization doing better than me something. What is that something? If I just say I am the best, then people should come to me to benchmark. And here, nobody can be best. I am just talking, I had personal interaction with Tom Peters, who wrote the book, historical book, In Search of Excellence. After that, he says, excellence doesn't exist. Because what you have achieved best, that's not excellent. There's something beyond that. Excellence is an illusion. That is your target, but it doesn't exist. So the purpose of benchmarking is best practices, how to use it, and bridge the gap. Thank you.
Sometime back, Dr. Nitin Noria, who is the alumnus of IIT Bombay and the dean of Harvard Business School, he passed a statement. He said there is only one Harvard Business School and it is unique. There is only one Harvard Business School and it is unique. Now, I would like to ask from the house of IIT, from the perspective of IIT, that isn't it the responsibility of Harvard Business School to help create more Harvard Business Schools? Or should we always look up to the best practices that they follow? And God knows they may not share their best practices with us. So how do you make this excellence, percolate? How do you make this as a chain reaction? I may be the best, but I may not want to share my best practice. When you benchmark, there is no sharing of inside documents. I just see that they do such and such activity, so let me also do that. If America being a capitalist economy and become a mixed economy system hasn't worked great, so let us follow capitalism. In 1991, we ended the license charge and we allowed many multinational corporations to enter India and they made good bucks. So my question is that once you become the best, once Dr. Nitin Noria says that there is only one Harvard Business School and it is unique, isn't it the responsibility of Dr. Nitin Noria to feel that there should be more such Harvard Business Schools? And as we from the IT Council Secretariat, we believe that he owes his social responsibility, his moral responsibility, his overall responsibility as an alumnus to help IITs create such schools of excellence in management at least. That's my question. You take advantage of your arrogance or your position, or you really would like to go to the masses, help government to create more Harvard Business Schools. Given the fact that the dean of MIT, Professor Suresh, who was called by Barack Obama's office and now would be heading Carnegie Mellon University from July 1st onwards. The dean of MIT and the dean of Harvard Business School, we talk of Harvard, we talk of MIT, both have their deans as IIT alumni. So, it's very, very unfortunate that I'm also looking from the angle of the alumni relations, that they are just not helping us go on.
Actually, say this is what Prashant is saying, and if you see the morning session, there was a word that education for profit, education for name, education for networking, education for power, and don't create the next, like Harvard only one. So if that remains, then it's a very difficult proposition. If I say education is not for profit, education is for development, so are you able to see the things in that context? In a capitalist economy? That's a big question. Our purpose is to see and to create a harmony in Indian context. We have an education system, both the secondary, senior secondary and the tertiary education system. So what I find that one of my friend has just given me an email that SMS, each one of us have our own limitations and advantages. Each one of us, at least institutions as well, has our own limitations and advantages. One who is able to create harmony in both will lead to a great success. Harmony in our limitations as well as advantages. Like in terms of you have said, if you compare with the Indian system, economy, capitalist versus socialist, profit versus the duties, etc., etc. So we need to bring a harmony, a cohesion. Yeah.
Because Harvard is private, MIT is private, Stanford is private. Well, I don't know how many people know, but they are all private institutions.
Private institutions.
But when we say MIT is private, when I say KIIT University is private, when I say BIT, Bangalore Institute of Technology is private, well, if I were to create education for profit, and if it brings me excellence, I'm just coming to that, if I create such systems which makes me function like Harvard, they have Harvard Management Company which buys Harvard Management Company, one of the richest education companies. So are we looking at buying excellence at a cost? Because if I would like to bring a professor to create a team to earn a Nobel Prize, which India hasn't for decades, those professors come at a cost. I can get them at $3,000, $4,000, and that's again a big salary in terms of IIT. $4,000 is a good sum of money. So that's my question again, that all these institutions are private. I understand people always take pretext of saying that, oh, they are old institutions and we are new institutions. Please do not compare. But I go to the bottom and I say Harvard, Stanford, all great institutions in America are private institutions, private foundations. And then they rose to that level. But we are in the government machinery. We are autonomous but funded by the government of India. So does excellence can we buy excellence at cost? Is it turned into education for profit system? I hope I'm
Yes, that's very clear. I want to take few more questions so that you can answer all of them. Are there more questions on benchmarking? Because we'll have to conclude in another 5 minutes. Huh? Nobody? Okay. You want to answer?
Question is, we talked about benchmarking. Just comparing with benchmarks. After a certain point in time, you achieve excellence, or when you achieve your objective, you are at the benchmark level. Then, is there a process, definite process of setting benchmarks? So, how do you set your benchmark for yourself or for your peer? Is there a process, or is that something which has evolved in the international market?
Yeah, there are two methods. One is the external benchmark and there is internal benchmark. Suppose I want to improve. I want to set a target, basically target and where I am, where I want to be. The gap is that need to be improved. That is the whole, it needs continuous improvement. So one way is that you have to set up the external benchmark. I am just giving an example. From the steel industry, they say the energy consumption is a 5.8 gigacalorie per ton. That is external benchmark. Now every company they measure it, how much it is coming. But since I am from that industry, it cannot be compared. It has to be done in totality because that again creates a lot of confusion. Their process is different, ore quality is different, whole thing is different. So here, now you have to, another way is internal benchmarking. what is the best in class attained in the country. Say one steel plant, Bhilai steel plant, what they got, Rourkela steel plant, this steel plant has got. So that becomes your target. To exceed that way, it's not that achieve that. Third is that if you don't have an external benchmark and internal benchmark, then you can have your own target. What every plant, everybody, there is a best record in during the year past record. That becomes a benchmark. Beyond that, that becomes your own benchmark. Even that's very difficult. One day you got in year, that becomes a benchmark. Someday, but it has already you have got it. It means that I know the process. Basically studying how we got it and how to do it. So these are the three methods of external benchmark, and it is allowable at cost. It is ethical. As per David Kahn, it has to be done ethically, not the spine. It's called a benchmarking clearing houses. They are just doing the business. If you want, you contact them, they'll contact the company, they'll charge the fee, and they'll review. This whole thing is ethical, transparent, with the consent of the company. Already means it has become a business. It has become a Japanese company. They will allow you to visit their plant. Earlier they were not allowed, but they charge the fee. They charge the fee. If you want to see it, this is the fee you do. So already the whole process is a business, just like a stock exchange. Information is there, you pay the money, and honestly they are doing. And you can have an interaction with a clear consent. These things are there. So with the consent of both the companies, this is possible. Many companies, proprietary, they'll say, I will not do. But I am sure Harvard will not do. And here, another thing I want to share. If Harvard feels that it will be always on the top, during one of my training in Japan, they presented a case study. They studied 100 best companies for 100 years with the data. You can also do it. They found that no company could retain its position beyond 2.4 decades, divided in 10 decades. No company, this is history. If you see, in 19th century, Britain was ruling whole world. Where is today? Just 5 years back, 2009, US economy was the topmost, where it is. So this is a law of nature, what I feel. If Harvard feels or MIT feels that they'll know, there'll be somebody who would come. Just hear the history. Well, Dhirubhai Ambani, Reliance Group, what was the existence just before 1973? Just 40 years that became not only in the India, one of the prominent in that. There was no existence at all. So anybody cannot miss. That's why I am telling humbly accepting that. I cannot always be on the top. Even the kingdoms, they vanished. So this is a humbleness. That's the behavior means benchmarking is humbly accepting. I am not the best. Maybe best in one thing, but not in 100, thousands, because thousand characteristics are there. So each one you can measure it, who is the best, that becomes role model. Even the whole psychology, whole training is based on the role model. If you want to improve your character, you have to select a role model. This is a neuro-linguistic programming. I don't know how many are exposed to that. This is the role model. Modeling is done, then you learn it. Could I answer, Kumar, your question?
Well, if I just comment on this issue of the standpoint of Harvard, and can you get excellence without paying the cost? Actually, that's the question, not that is it always at cost or something. Not to actually compare, but just to take an analogy from sports. If you think about, well, you're crazy for cricket, and luckily I lived in Australia for 3 years, so I understand now the rules. But anyway, the idea is that teams come and go, and sometimes somebody somewhere decides that we want to have the best team. You have two ways of doing it. One, You trust the youngsters, train them, wait for 10, 20, 30 years, or probably in sports, 10 years, and you get the results, and your team starts to be best in Indian cricket or winning Australia in Ashes series or something like that. But if you want to do it quickly, if you want to have best team next year, then it comes at cost, and at huge cost. And in a higher education and in university world nowadays, everybody seems to be interested in doing this really fast, and then it comes at cost. If you want to become even remotely similar to what results Harvard or MIT or others in USA, or best in UK, or even best in your own country, if you are looking up to certain universities which are benchmarks for your own country, it means that usually you have two ways. You have to wait and develop slowly, and then the cost is, at least on the surface, relatively low, although it takes a long time, and missed opportunities and opportunity costs and all that. So it's a very difficult calculation. Or then you want to be fast, then you have to pay for talent because you don't have time to bring up your own people. So if the dean for Harvard is saying what he's saying, and anybody in the room thinks that that's something that is worth trying to reach or aspire, then you have to pay a lot. There is no escape from that equation. But if you have time to wait and let society to develop, work together, you have brilliant minds in this country, you have brilliant minds also in USA, you can work together with them, all Indians. So in this sense, there is a perfect opportunity over time that you will be reaching same levels, whatever they think that they are.
Okay, I think we can conclude now. One thing is becoming very clear about benchmark. It is not necessarily there are benchmarking an institution or industry standards. Benchmarking is your own idea that what you want to be. Okay, you sit down within your institution and debate upon that what would be the best quality of teaching that we would like to set. Okay. So you set your own criteria, self-imposed standard of excellence, competing with your own self. This is the movie that we saw in the morning, that the person is beating his own standards. I think self-imposed standard of excellence is the real sense, is a benchmark. Okay, and Harvard, the question that you asked, actually telling you very clearly that you can benefit from Harvard, but Harvard will continue to remain unique because they are progressive. They are setting new standards and they are following those benchmarks continuously. Okay, so Harvard would remain unique now and forever, no matter how much you benefit from Harvard, how much you copy from Harvard. There are several hundred institutions that have copied from Harvard, including number of institutions in India. Okay, but Harvard is the Harvard. Okay, thank you very much. And thank you all the members for contributing in this thought.